garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the song of God discloses, and love walks with me, and love talks with me, and love tells me I am its own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. Love speaks, and the sound of its voice is so sweet. The birds hush their singing, and the melody that it gave to me within my heart is ringing. And love walks with me, and love talks with me, and love tells me I am its own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. Yay! I know, but it's all ingrained in us somewhere. We edited it a little bit.
Thanks, Ireland. Good morning to everyone here in the sanctuary and online. Yeah, this is my first time
You're doing great.
and hopefully my last. So just know if you walk into Linda's office, you might have to duck. So, and I didn't duck. I sidestepped, but I still got hit. Anyways, no, I'm happy to be here. And looking forward to sharing our guest speaker with us all, welcoming Cindy Clay. I'm excited to hear her again. We welcome you and greet you in the warm and loving spirit of unity and the recognition of our unity with all people and communities of faith throughout the world. In unity, we bless and embrace people of every race, culture, lifestyle, and creed. We honor and celebrate the many paths to God, the many names for God, and the many ways in which to experience God. We affirm there's only one presence and one power active in your life and mine, God the good, omnipotent. I'd like to welcome Leanne Robinson to read the Daily Word.
Thanks, Ellen. Schedules are not my jam, but I knew I was going to remember that I was the daily word reader because today is the anniversary of the eruption of Mount St. Helens. Why I can remember that, I have no idea. It doesn't connect with the daily word. The daily word is cherish. And I cherish all of you. So, couldn't make a clever connection there, I tried. So cherish. We cherish our lives that we didn't live by. I cherish opportunities to share the love of God. It isn't the price of something that determines its value, it's how much it is cherished. It's not how something looks or what it costs that makes it beautiful. It is the love and wonder I feel that helps me cherish it. Just like the gifts I give, I imbue my relationships with love. I cherish those for whom I care deeply, and I want them to feel cherished by me. I hold the intention for love and connection that is at the heart of my every exchange. Just as I feel cherished as a divine being, I share the love of God through my kind and considerate acts. At the heart of every kindness I extend is the prayer that those I serve will feel cherished, not only by me, but by God. So deeply do we care for you that we are determined to share with you not only the gospel of God, but also our own selves, because you have become very dear to us. 1 Thessalonians 2:8. Thanks, Ellen.
Thank you. If this is your first Sunday with us, would you please raise your hand? I don't see anybody new. But we welcome all of you, first Sunday or not. Please join us for coffee and fellowship after the service. I'd like to say thank you to our guest speaker, Cindy, our musicians, Ireland and Stewart, and our faithful Sunday morning production team, mostly Jordan, our greeters, and all of our volunteers. Our prayer ministers are active and wish to support you in your prayer. Send your requests through prayer@unitysv.org or place your request in the prayer box here in the sanctuary over in the corner. We pray with you for a month, and then your requests are sent to Silent Unity, where they are lovingly blessed in the Silent Unity prayer room for another month. Silent Unity is focusing our ministry in prayer during the month of July. Next week's Potluck Sunday. Great food and great fun. Please bring a dish to share for our potluck after the service. Followed by game day. We'll have a small variety of games and people can bring their own if they want. The event will provide joy and fellowship and remind us to have fun. Fun. Hot water for tea and coffee will be provided along with juice. For questions, please contact Beth Gould. All other announcements with dates and time are on the back of your bulletin this morning. I'd like to introduce Cindy. After our meditation music, Cindy Clay will provide a meditation and will be our guest speaker. Cindy is a licensed practitioner with Centers for Spiritual Living and serves at CSL Bellingham. She has delivered talks and workshops nationally and internationally for over 30 years. She is a ministerial student with Centers for Spiritual Living, and I'm looking forward to hearing her again. And now, if we can set aside our papers, and we'll have our meditation group song.
Okay, we're gonna sing this one 3 times through. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. One more time. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
Thank you. That's so beautiful. And so just join me now. Let's take a deep breath together and let it go. And again, just breathe in together and let it go. And you might want to uncross anything that's crossed. Just put your feet flat on the ground. And as you breathe in, I want you to imagine that beautiful roots are coming from the bottom of your feet, circling, twirling, connecting to the heart of Mother Earth, awaiting those roots, gently enfolding those roots, holding them tight. And Mother Earth sends up your roots loving, grounding energy right back up into your feet. That love moves into your body. And imagine above your head a glowing orb of light, the light of truth. And above your head, that chakra just opens. And see the light of truth just flowing. It's got a rosy glow to it. Down through your head, through your face, through your neck, your arms, into your torso, bathing all your internal organs with healing light. And that light meets up with the love of Mother Earth. And together, those two energies warm us and hold us, connected to Spirit, connected to Mother Earth. And in that awareness of this beautiful connection to all that is God, let us just meditate together in the silence. And so let's breathe together one more big breath of life, taking in the inspiration of the divine and releasing it and coming back into this room together. I say thank you, sweet Spirit.
You belong among the wildflowers. You belong in a boat out at sea. Sail away, kill off the hours. You belong somewhere you feel free. Run away, go find a lover. Go away somewhere all bright and new. I have seen no other who compares with you. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong in a boat out at sea. go find a lover. Run away, let your heart be your guide. You deserve the deepest of cover. You belong in that home by and by. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong somewhere close to me, far away from your trouble and worry. You belong somewhere you feel free. You belong somewhere you feel free.
Thank you. You have a beautiful voice. Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, I am so glad to be with you today. I was here about 6 months ago. And 6 months ago, I hadn't even started ministerial school yet, and somebody put on the program Reverend in Training, which just amused me. I loved it. And today I am a full-fledged reverend. So you think that, it's on your program, but I'm just in my second quarter of ministerial school. So I just keep getting promoted every time I come here, so thank you. Oh, I have to say, isn't this just a glorious time of year? I was driving down here from Bellingham, and I was looking at all the different shades of green in the trees, just going, oh, this is my favorite time of year, because it's spring. And we pass through the spring equinox, and when day and night is, you know, pretty even, right? And my heart starts to sing. When the days start to get longer, you know, and the sun is out until 10:30 at night, I'm a happy woman. So this is my favorite time of year, even when it's overcast and rainy. It doesn't matter. I know, I love this time of year. So for many cultures, this time symbolizes a time of birth and renewal and balance, right? If you've had the urge to go out and plant something, you're feeling that collective uplift that says, let's go make a garden, right? That invitation to start fresh. And so it's that invitation that I want to explore with you this morning. And so I move around a lot, so just know that I'll be over here for a while, and I'll be over here. I made her move the candle because I also wave my hands around. So, so this invitation, the invitation comes with a promise. And that promise is that if you plant an acorn, you will get an oak tree, not a cucumber. If you plant a tulip bulb, you are not going to get a dandelion. You're going to get a tulip. Isn't that fantastic? There are laws that govern the renewal of our earth, right? There are laws in place that say you're going to get what you plant. There's stability and predictability. They govern how we grow too, okay? So I think that's great news. Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of what's now Centers for Spiritual Living, that's my tradition, has this to say: there is a power around you that knows and understands all things. This power works like the soil. It receives the seed of your thought and at once begins to operate upon it. It will receive what you give to it and will create for you and throw back what you think into it, okay? And so Ernest Holmes and Charles Fillmore were both students of Emma Curtis Hopkins. There were a lot of people that came from Emma Curtis Hopkins' work and started these different denominations. So we're kind of like sister denominations, you know, very closely aligned. And so what Charles Fillmore says is, each person is a gardener who has absolute charge of their mind and can determine just what kinds of seeds shall be planted in their domain. So it's our choice. I think that's so cool. I get to choose what I plant in my garden of consciousness.
So I want you to think about the myriad choices you get to make when you're thinking about how you're preparing. This is the first thing. How are you preparing the soil of your consciousness? Okay? So I'm going to tell you a little story. My husband Leo and I moved to Bellingham now about 5 years ago. And when we were looking for houses, we came upon this house that we thought was just beautiful. And we walked through it. We loved it. And then we looked out the back deck down the hill and we went, oh my gosh. Because the previous owner had decided she didn't want to have to deal with lawn care and gardening. And so she had just had a truck of rocks and gravel, back up and cover the whole hillside in about 3 inches of gravel, all gravel. And so we realized as we were looking at this is why the house had been on the market for 8 months. And so for that reason, I'm looking for my Kleenex, just a second. I have a little runny nose. I guess we were grateful because the house was still there. And so we talked about it and we decided, okay, we're going to buy this house and we will figure out what to do with this hillside that's covered in rocks. And so we did. We're still there. We love this house. But one of the first things we did was we called a landscape designer. And we brought her in and she came out and she looked at this and she went, we are not going to be able to get rid of all these rocks. But I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll clear, she had this vision that she shared with us. We'll terrace this hillside. We'll make rocky paths and we'll clear big swaths of planting areas so that we can plant in there. And that's what we did. So she had a team come in and remove a lot of the rocks, but not all of them, because there were a lot of them. It would have taken months to get a team to remove all the rocks that this woman had put in the backyard. But, and what we had left then when she was done were these big planting areas surrounded by rocky paths. And then she brought in healthy soil, right? And so she brought in big trucks that dumped healthy soil, and they spread it all over these garden areas, had the right minerals, the right nutrients to prepare us for planting. So that's a metaphor for preparing the soil of our consciousness, right? I want you to think about those rocks as limiting beliefs. You're ready to let them go. They're past regrets. You no longer need to hold on to those, right? They're old stories that you've told about why things are the way they are. You don't need those stories anymore. So to prepare your soil of consciousness, you let that stuff go. And then you're ready to bring in healthy thoughts, healthy affirmations, healthy truths, right? To fill your consciousness. So this is really important because I've made this mistake in the past where I've just gone out and bought plants and stuck them in the ground. I have not prepared the soil of my consciousness. And what happens when you do that? Any gardeners in here? They do not thrive. And plants wither and die in those conditions. So I've learned the hard way. There's some work that has to happen before I can grow what I want to grow in my garden of consciousness. So then my second choice is, this is your second choice too, what are you planting in your garden of consciousness? Because the law promises that what you plant will grow. So are you planting seeds of hope or are you planting seeds of fear? Okay, this is a choice that we get to make every day. And I have to say, I have not been turning on the news for months. I've stopped listening to the news. I listen to the symphony in my car because I just got tired of listening to prognosticators and predictors and pundits telling me how awful everything was. I just didn't want to live there anymore. And while I don't like things that are happening, especially on the national scene, I don't want to live in outrage. I don't want to live like that, right? I'm not going to be any good to anybody if that's the way I'm living. So every day I get to make this choice, and you get to make this choice too. What are you going to plant today? Are you going to plant a seed of hope, or are you going to plant a seed of fear? That's always our choice. And so one thing that we get to do is pay attention to our own vision, to our own dreams, to our own desires, because that's what we want to plant in our garden of consciousness. Pay attention to the ways that you're called to serve others, because that's how we grow a healthy garden, no matter what's happening in the world around us. Ernest Holmes tells us to be for something and against nothing. You hear the difference? A lot of the world is calling us often to be against stuff, right? To take a stand against something. But what a shift it is to say be for something. Stand for something, okay? So I went to the websites for both Centers for Spiritual Living and for Unity because I was curious, like, so how do they talk about this? And so here's something that's from the global vision for Centers for Spiritual Living. We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought. A world where each and every person discovers their own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. I got goosebumps reading that out loud, right? And I looked at the Unity website, and so these are the stated values of Unity. Inclusiveness. We are an inclusive, equitable culture of oneness. Inspiration. We inspire and awaken people to the divine within. Innovation. We seek continuous improvement in all that we do. Community. We are a community of collaboration, growth, and accountability. Service. We serve each other, our constituents, and our local community. So these are powerful, visionary statements. These are gardens worth growing, aren't they? Yeah, let's stand for that, right? Whatever spiritual tradition we're coming from, we're saying the same thing. We want to awaken to our divine magnificence, to the God within. We want to create this world of support and love and care. That is powerful. And I want to help grow a garden like that. And I hope you'll join me in doing that, right? So then the third choice is, how will you tend your garden? Okay? So it would be really nice if we could just put our plants in the garden, call it good, and move on, right? But that's not how it works. And the gardeners in here can raise your hand so I can see who you are if you do a little gardening. Yeah. You know it doesn't work like that, right? They can't just care for themselves. A healthy garden requires regular attention. And by that, I mean weeding, watering, and fertilizing. So I'm just going to keep mining this metaphor for a little bit more. So let's talk about weeding for a second. So I'm going to tell you more about my backyard garden. So we love our garden, but there's just this one area in our garden that we have had a hard time keeping things alive in. And it's when I'm standing on my deck looking out at my garden, it's kind of off to the left. And I've had several plants die over there, and I think it's because it's just not getting enough sun. So we had the wrong plants in there. It's on the south side. It's kind of up against a fence, which is blocking it. The house is blocking the sun for most of the day. So it gets a little blast of sun at the end of the day, and that's about it, right? But one day I was standing out there, and a little plant, I looked down, there was a little volunteer popped up in my garden. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And about a week later, it popped out a little pink flower. And I was like, oh, that's pretty. I'm just going to leave that and see what happens. Well, before I knew it, that plant had taken over 100 square feet of my garden. I mean, it was happy, it spread, it was popping out those little pink flowers, and I had kind of mixed feelings about it because nothing else was growing there, Why don't I just, let that have its way, right? Till my neighbor one day leaned over the fence and went, "You do know that's a weed, don't you? And it's really hard to get rid of." And I was like, oh, uh-oh. So I kind of left it. I thought, well, maybe this will turn out okay, right? But my gardener, our landscaper, came over and he went, "That's a weed, and it has reseeded itself all over this side of your garden." And I was like, oh, shoot. So I knew I was in big trouble because I had just let this weed go. And so it had little pink flowers. It was kind of pretty, but it was really invasive. And I was starting to recognize that I had created this situation. So over the next month, I got a shovel. I had to pace myself because it was deeply rooted. And I would go out every day and just dig up like a little 1-foot section. It took me a month to get it all out. I just kept pulling out little section at a time until I got it all pulled out. And what I discovered was that underneath that weed were several intentional plants that we had planted. And they were not doing very well because that weed had blocked the sun. So they were like struggling underneath going, ah. And so I felt bad because I had done this disservice to my chosen plants, right? And so I have been out there this spring. I mean, it's hilarious. My kids laugh at me because I'm out there every day because this thing reseeded itself, right? So I'm out there every day picking up these little shoots that come up. And I, believe me, have been out every day for like 6 weeks now, like doing this because I'm going to make sure I eradicate this weed, right? So I had made a choice to ignore a weed in my garden. This is what Charles Fillmore has to say about this. Your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. So, like, what's it gonna be? I love that he made that rhyme too. So, I want you to ask yourself, what weeds are residing in my consciousness? Just think about this for a minute. What weeds are residing in my consciousness? Now, we all have our own weeds, but the one weed that I'm going to talk about right now is a weed that springs up in our lives: gossip. Yeah, I know, it's like, oh, I wasn't even thinking about that weed. So gossip sneaks into our conversations, right? And why do we gossip? If you think about it, we gossip. Well, there are lots of reasons, but here's some primary ones. One is that while we are sharing what feels like insider information, we may have a sense of power. Like we know something somebody else doesn't know, right? If you think about why you've ever gossiped. Sometimes we gossip because we just are enjoying that feeling of being a little bit better than the person we're gossiping about. Now, I want you to know I have gossiped, so this is not me shaming you. This is me reminding myself, I really don't want to be doing this, okay? I really don't. Because gossip poisons an individual, gossip poisons an organization, gossip poisons a community, and it's very subtle. It is a weed with little pink flowers, right? You think it's going to be okay, and it's kind of pretty, and it's sort of interesting, and I feel okay about myself. Now, I am not talking about that occasional conversation where you say, you know, I haven't heard from Maggie in a week. I wonder if she's doing okay. I think I'll call her. That's not gossip, right? Gossip is talking about somebody behind their back that, in a way, puts them down, okay? Helps you feel superior to them. So that's what I'm talking about. And nothing good grows in a community where gossip has taken over. You ever been in a community where gossip has taken over? Yeah, it is not a good thing. So this is a discipline. This is a practice because gossip blocks the light that should be shining over the plants in your garden of consciousness. So this is Charles Fillmore again. Words are also seeds. And when dropped into the invisible spiritual substance, they grow and bring forth after their kind. So what are the words that we're speaking? Our words are powerful, okay? So I want to tell you a little story about somebody at CSL Bellingham, where I go to church, who plucked out that weed as soon as she saw it. So one day, and this is about a month ago, I got a text from her and it said, "Hey, I've heard something about you and Leo, and I would like to meet with you and ask you about it." So of course we invited her right over. I mean, she had obviously heard some gossip. We spent the whole day wondering, what in the world are people gossiping about us? You know, we think we're pretty boring. And so she came over and I gave her a cup of tea and we sat down together and she told us about something she had heard that we had said that wasn't true. You know, and we listened to her and I could tell that somebody had overheard a conversation where somebody else had said what was being attributed to us, but we didn't say it. And so I said, that wasn't us. You know, I didn't say so-and-so said it. I just went, that was not us. We did not say that. That is not true. Okay? And she thanked us. And I got to tell you, I so admire her. To her credit, when she heard this thing being spread, she went, I'm plucking that out. I'm going to go right to the source and find out if this is true. Well, bless her heart, because then I said, please go tell everybody that told you that it's not true, right? So gossip spreads like a weedy plant. And she's a great example of somebody who said, not in my community, not in my life. Gossip is not going to reside in my garden of consciousness. I love that. Okay? Now this is interesting because for the next week, what I want you to do is notice when you're talking about somebody else behind their back. Even if you're thinking this is just benign, right? Just notice it. And it's okay to just go, never mind, not going to say it. Nope. Okay? Because it's a discipline to stop gossiping. All right? All right, so let's talk about watering. So watering is the next way that you tend your garden, right? You make sure those plants get enough water that they can thrive. So when I think of watering, I think of nurturing. I'm watching the baby in the back being watered right now. There's some nurturing love going on back there. Yeah, so I want to tell you, when my daughters now are 25 and 24, and when they were growing up, they went to the youth program at CSL Seattle, and they came home one day with 2 plants. And we had instructions to put those plants in a sunny windowsill and to pick one. We picked the one on the left to just speak gently, kindly, lovingly to. And so we started talking to the plant on the left, telling it, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Look at you. Look at that shiny leaf you're growing. You are amazing. Oh, you are so magnificent. We love you so much. We just talked to that little plant. Now, we didn't think harmful thoughts about the plant on the right. We just didn't talk to it. We watered it, got watered just like the plant on the left, and they were only this far apart, people. Do you know what happened? The plant on the left grew at twice the rate as the plant on the right. It thrived. Isn't that the coolest experiment ever? I know. Now, this is more than about talking to your plants, right? Although, please, if you want to go home and talk to your plants now, that's a good thing. But I think what it says to us is that our love is powerful, and the world needs our love. That is what the world needs from us more than anything else, is the depth of our love, our nurturing love. And part of that love is genuine forgiveness. So about a month or 2 ago, I got an email from somebody, and it was full of hatred. Really awful, nasty comments, and all directed at me. I know, that's how I felt when I opened it. And so I opened it, and I was like, oh my gosh. Now, the comments didn't hurt me in the sense that, you know, sometimes somebody says something that is sort of like something you secretly wish weren't true of you, and it really lands like it stings, but they weren't like that because none of the comments felt true. You know, I was just like, but it really bothered me that somebody held me with such animosity. You know, I just was deeply unsettled by that. And I wanted to be free from that unsettled, uncomfortable feeling, right? So, well, as I was praying about that, I realized that I needed to forgive them for whatever was going on that caused that emotional reaction to me, that I needed to forgive them. And I remembered a talk that was given by a minister named Reverend Eric Odell, who's a minister in CSL, and he came to our center. And he was telling a story about something that happened in his life where he felt somebody had attacked him. And he made this very powerful statement. So I started saying this out loud. I am not an enemy, and I have no enemies. You know, and that started helping me feel like grounded in what's really true. I am not an enemy. I have no enemies. But then the other thing that came to me was the Tibetan Buddhist meditation. So I brought that on a little piece of paper for you. That's what this is. And so this is a meditation practice that is really a forgiveness practice. And so I started to say this: may I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. And then you say, may you be filled with loving kindness. And then you say, may we be filled with loving kindness. So I'm just going to invite you to think of someone that you're ready to forgive this morning. And we're going to actually do this together. So have someone in mind that you're ready to forgive. You're ready to release them from any thoughts of harm or ill will. You're ready to let this go. And it can be anybody. I just want you to be thinking of somebody. And then let's say this together. Are you ready? Okay. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. And may we be happy. We just watered our garden of consciousness. So I said this meditation, 70 times. I chanted it over and over again until I felt this shift, this release happen. And I no longer held any fear, any unsettled feeling, any disquiet. I just felt deeply at peace with who I am and who I know she is as a divine idea of God. Okay? Ernest Holmes tells us, if nothing goes forth from me that can hurt, then nothing can return to me that can harm. And the world is calling us to be right there in that space of love and forgiveness. So the last thing I want to talk about is fertilizing. So there are a lot of ways to fertilize your garden, but the one that I like most is gratitude. Does anybody have a gratitude practice here? So this is a good fertilizing practice for your garden of consciousness. And here's what Wayne Dyer says about that. Give yourself a gift of 5 minutes of contemplation in awe of everything you see around you. Go outside, turn your attention to the many miracles around you. This 5 minute a day, so he wants you to do it every day, regimen of appreciation and gratitude will help you to focus your life in awe. I just want to have a life focused in awe. I want my garden of consciousness to be filled with awe at the miracles around me. And I just have to take 5 minutes a day to go out to my backyard, which now is really nice looking, or a garden somewhere, or a park, and just sit and contemplate the miracles around me. So gratitude is the source of awe, and also the realization of our unity with love. Okay. So let me just summarize what we've been talking about. In our garden of consciousness, first, we can choose to prepare the soil of our consciousness. We can remove the rocks of limiting beliefs, of old stories that don't serve us anymore, of past regrets. We can let them go and then bring in healthy, nutritious, affirmative, positive thinking to help us prepare the soil of consciousness. And then second, we get to choose what to plant there. And so we get to choose, if we want to plant seeds of hope and not fear. We get to choose to allow vision and dreams and possibilities to inspire us so that we are for something in this world. And then 3, we get to tend our garden through weeding, watering, and fertilizing. So weeding our garden means we can pull out those things that do not benefit us in our consciousness. And the one that we talked about today was gossip. We can make the choice as a community, as an individual, to stop gossiping. And I always say those weeds aren't going to pull themselves. So this is a discipline, okay? This is not like today you're going to stop gossiping. It's going to be the experience of catching yourself and going, oh, nope, not going to do that. Like my friend who just went pulling that up right away, not going to let that reside here. And then watering our garden means the practice of forgiveness. That's one way we can water it. Bringing that love into our collective consciousness. And we forgive anytime it feels like someone has taken an action to harm us, because that release is for us, isn't it? Okay, it's to give us that freedom. So we can bathe our seeds of hope, our seeds of possibility with forgiveness and nurturing love. And then, lastly, we can fertilize. So we can take 5 minutes a day to contemplate the glorious world that we live in and appreciate with awe our life experience and what surrounds us. So I want to close with a powerful statement by Florence Scovel Shinn. Do you know her? She's a New Thought teacher. She's a prosperity teacher. She writes really pithy sayings. So here's one. Change your thoughts, and in the twinkling of an eye, all your conditions change. Your world is a world of crystallized ideas, crystallized words. Sooner or later, you reap the fruits of your words and thoughts. So let us together reap the fruits of beautifully tended gardens of consciousness. And so I'm just going to say a prayer for that, if you'll just join me. So right here, right now, I just know that the spirit of love is present. I feel that love in my heart. I know that it is the only presence and the only power. There is no power that can take place, live, have any effect when love is present. And I affirm that I am one with this love. I am one with this presence, and I am powerful, and so are you. We are the embodiment, the expression, the living presence of the divine. We love, and our love heals the world. And so I affirm for each one of us that we lovingly prepare our gardens of consciousness
we lovingly plant seeds of hope. We lovingly tend and nurture this garden, removing anything that is unlike God, unlike love. And we reap the fruits of this garden. Our lives are filled with gratitude and joy and awe. I am so grateful to know the truths of these teachings from Ernest Holmes and Charles Fillmore and Florence Shinn and Wayne Dyer. These teachers that bring us these truths that heal and uplift us. And I release these words now into the creative medium that is Spirit itself. And I say, thank you, sweet Spirit. And so it is.
Thank you, Cindy. Yeah, I'm going to be out working on my garden. So now it's time for our offering. We are grateful for your ongoing gifts and love offerings. You can offer your gifts here in the sanctuary or make donations through unitysv.org or by Zephi, which the link is on our website. We bless every single gift we receive with love and in the realization that as you give, the ministry continues to thrive and what you have given returns to you multiplied, pressed down, and running over. If we could say this together, let's bless our offering. I give joyfully and easily, for God is my source, and abundance is my nature. Thank you for your generosity.
Taking down your neighbor won't take you any higher. I burn my own finger poking someone else's fire. I've never gotten taller making someone else feel small. If you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Just hoe your own row and raise your own babies. Smoke your own smoke and grow your own daisies. Mend your own fences and own your own crazy. Mind your own biscuits and life will be gravy. Mind your own biscuits and life will be gravy. Nobody's perfect. We've all lost and we've all lied. Most of us have cheated and the rest of us have tried. The holiest of holy even slips from time to time. We've all got dirty laundry hanging on the line. So just hoe your own row, raise your own babies and smoke your own smoke. Grow your own daisies, mend your own fences and own your own crazy. Mind your own biscuits and life will be gravy. Mind your own biscuits and life will be gravy. Pouring salt in my sugar won't make yours any sweeter. Pissing in my yard ain't gonna make yours any greener. I wouldn't know about the rocks in your shoes, so I'll just do me, and honey, you can just do you. Just hoe your own row, raise your own babies, smoke your own smoke and grow your own daisies. And own your own crazy. Mind your own biscuits and life will be gravy. Mind your own biscuits and life will be gravy.
All right, do we have children today? Come on up. There's more than one. All right, come on up. Hi. All right, are we ready to bless our children? Children of light, we love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you just the way you are. Thank you. All right, please join us for the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well. All right, thank you everyone for being with us, and have a wonderful week. Let's join hands as we sing the peace song.
Hi, everybody. Hey, a real quick announcement. There is stores such as somebody storing for the end of the world or whatever, peas, lentils, spaghetti,